Big highlight from this week, Senator, the annual budget address from the governor. Your takeaways from the State of the State this week.
There were many points in it that I was incredibly excited about, and if I just hit the ones that were most near and dear to my heart, the transportation funding for our schools. We have in our rural areas a transportation budget that we've had to fund within the school budget, and that's something that the state just last year was the first time that we funded our it's actually an obligation of ours, and we haven't been doing that for our rural schools. That's just an incredible expense for the governor to put that in his budget before sending it to the House, I think is really speaking volumes that this is something that we need to continue to support every year and fund every year. But then I think that it also is going to free our schools up to use the money in the classroom for the things that they've been lacking. And so I'm super excited that we're going to fund that again this year.
It does hit urban districts as well, but most especially the smaller sometimes the districts, sometimes the more spread out it may be.
Absolutely. I mean, we have kids being bused 30 minutes one way. That's a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. One of the other areas that was important to me is stabilizing our daycare crisis. We had a daycare shortage before we went into the COVID years. Since then, we've had a 30% decrease in daycares where we were already low before COVID hit. Some of my areas will have one daycare and they're not making money, but they're charging as much as they can, but they're not able to pay their workers an amount to keep workers there. But our parents aren't able to pay more. I mean, when you have parents paying $200 a week for one child, I mean, that's not sustainable on a lot of wages. The governor has laid out a plan to provide tax credits for some of our daycares, and I think this is going to help stabilize them, help grow the spots available, and just increase the number of daycare options that we have, especially in the rural areas. I'm excited to see how that's going to play out.
Overall, what are some of your plans, along with whether they are in sync with what was talked about this week in State of the State or otherwise for the session for you?
Well, one of the things that he talked about was money for our technical programs and certificates in our high schools. And that is something that I've been working on for years and trying to get more money for our programs. I'm all for four-year colleges, and that is absolutely one path to success. But there is another path to success, and that is through technical programs that are, for those students who can't see themselves going to a four-year college or who want a welding degree or a culinary degree and, those type of things, and where they can go for 12 months or 18 months and get a certificate program and go straight to work. That is the other path to success for many of our students. And so we need to fund and support both as a state. And to hear the governor talk about the extra funding and the focus on those technical programs is super exciting for me, and then goes right along with me being on appropriations now. And that's one of the things that I have listed that I'm absolutely asking for in Southeast Missouri is more funding for those programs.